This fantasy football mock draft edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast. Use that promo code SGP50 and get a 50% deposit bonus. Play, win, and get paid. We're also brought to you by Amazon. Log on to sportsgamblingpodcast.com and click the Amazon banner. Bookmark that link and use it every time you shop to score sweet savings and support the podcast. Woo! Welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
You're a lefty, so I got to imagine that first base or home plate umpire is calling for the balk right there. Really thought you threw me off, thought you were pausing, powered through on the intro. I'm pretty sure you're moving towards the plate, though, so...
Was a little hiccup there.
I'm gonna take first base.
Ryan, this is what the preseason is all about, right? We're getting our reps in. We're figuring out, okay, the ins and outs, the mechanics, because we will be powering through God knows how much football content coming up. And what better time to get started, to get ready? This is our preseason. This is preseason for the refs too. We got to figure this thing out. Why
Speak
not?
for yourself. I'm in mid-season form.
I'm doing this is my first mock draft. I'm doing it.
Really?
Doing it on the podcast. Doing a mock draft. And now, Ryan, you've already done a number of mock drafts. You've already done a number of real FFPC drafts. You're already head first. I'm raw dogging. I did research. I did some research for the top 10 lists. Didn't take much for me to know that Carson Wentz was the number one overall quarterback for my fantasy football.
Did you only research your own list?
No, I looked at other guys' lists, a bunch of square jobber lists, and was like, okay, these lists are garbage. Let me come in with a good list. You can get all those top 10 lists. Those are all available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, and YouTube. We're on the YouTube right now. If you're watching, you don't need to subscribe. You probably already subscribed, but go to youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. You can see Ryan in his business casual.
Sean?
You dressed up for the podcast, Ryan, because I was joking earlier. Now that we're doing a video broadcast, I'm not going to be coming from my gym outfits anymore. And again, probably not the best use of the word calling them gym outfits, but I made an effort to clean up. I wore a nice Eagle shirt, and you're coming over the top with a business cowboy casual. How would you describe that?
Let's just say, business casual when you just spent a week at a dude ranch, right? Heck, came straight from the office to the office, Sean.
Yeah. One office clocking out, another office clocking in.
I'm getting loose on the buttons though, so we're not totally. We're like,
so any fans of chess there, you got to check out the YouTube page. You can see that all.
Like I just subscribed, so I'll be checking myself.
Yeah, Ryan
out
just
over
subscribed to the YouTube channel. Okay, enough messing around. Joining us in a second will be Dane Speeds from the Fantasy Network. But before we bring on Dane, we got to talk to our pals over at MyBookie.ag. Just the sounds of football. MyBookie.ag is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast. This year, they're doing an NFL Super Contest. We know what the Super Contest is, Ryan. It's where you pick 5 games each week against the spread. MyBookie's entry fee is only $100. First place, guaranteed at least $100,000. All the entries, every $100 that are entered into the MyBookie prize pool is going back to the contestants. There is no vig, no juice. Very generous of our pals over at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag/super contest. And while you're going there, while you're joining the $100 super contest, why not make that initial deposit? Use that promo code SGP50. Get that extra bonus deposit of 50%. SGP50. Play, win, and most importantly, you get paid, Kramer, over at MyBookie.ag.
Because the juice, of course, cannot be paid anymore, right?
Joining us on the line from the Fantasy Radio Network, Dane Martinez. Dane, what's happening, man?
Going well. How you guys doing?
Great, man. Just
football.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how pissed off I was.
Get all this soccer nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
It has been a lot of soccer.
Yeah.
Real asshole move.
I had to go all in on women's soccer for 10 days. Dark times. But, I was just remembering, what was it, like 3 years ago, how pissed off I was when the Hall of Fame game got canceled because they painted the field.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they were like, oh, we can't.
Field.
Yeah. Of all the things to worry about with player safety, the wet field, they're going to be – and I'm just so pissed because July is football. It's football in July. That's our big thing going on here on the podcast. We're just hopping in early. No need to wait till August. Just get into it, man.
No, absolutely. It'll be there before you know it. You got to talk about it when the player's away because when they come back, they'll all have suspensions and it'll all change.
That's one thing. Now we've started with some of our fantasy stuff, doing our top 10 lists and stuff like that. What's your take on this Tyreek Hill situation? We haven't seen anything as far as how many games he's going to be out. What's your guess?
Well, I think the last thing I saw them say was that it would be a maximum of 4 games. But as we know, the NFL is ridiculously inconsistent, right? So who knows what it will be. I just want, from a fantasy perspective, from a cold hard fantasy perspective, I just would want it to happen earlier on as opposed to having it hang over like it did with Zeke that one season, and it wound up being in the fantasy playoffs that he actually missed games.
I still, to this day, about a year ago almost, I was in an auction draft in Las Vegas in the FFPC, and I watched a guy spend $48 on Le'Veon Bell. That's the kind of bullshit that happens when you let this linger. Like, have some decency. Let us know before training. Like, just let us know.
Exactly.
Just let him go. He's going to miss 4 games, which, I don't know if you saw, Sean, but the full audio of the conversation from the Dubai airport was released today.
The voicemail.
Yeah, I have not listened to this, but it's essentially, it adds context to that earlier clip that they had played. But anyway, it sounds like he's definitely going to miss time. It would be nice to know when, because I got to be honest, Sean, in the best ball drafts that I'm participating in, he's still going in the 4th round. So people are insane.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, to me, I just want to know, because Damian Williams, the more I think about this guy, the more I'm getting just him in that Andy Reid offense with no Tyreek Hill. He's going to be stealing all the screens from him. I'm just salivating at the chance to draft Damian Williams.
Well, Sean, we should just get to it.
I know, enough messing around.
So, all right, so we're gonna do a mock draft. It's just gonna be 3 of us and computers.
Yes.
I have it. It's gonna randomize. Yes.
That'll be the computer's turn.
We are leveraging the database platform.
Nice.
It will randomize our picks. I'm gonna click Start Draft. It should put us all into a draft.
Let's see what we get.
I think we're all in there.
Yep, we're in.
The draft is going to start in 30 seconds. I have the 6th pick. Oh, this is great. We have a 2 pick, a 6 pick, and a 9 pick. So a little bit all over the place.
Spread out. There we go. All right.
Dan, you have the 9. I have the 6. Sean has the 2nd. Okay. I guess, Sean, you asked me before the show. You said, "Hey, are you gonna just go into this blind or whatever you said?" And I was like, "Blind?
Raw dogging it."
I've done like 25 real drafts already.
Ryan has just been cranking out FFPC drafts. Okay.
No
so now here, see, Sean, you're faced with right away. Zeke Elliott's staring at you in the face, and I know you would never do it.
Exactly, because that's a disgusting act. First off the board with the computer is Saquon Barkley. I'm sitting at number 2 here. Oh, man. And I hate Christian McCaffrey. This is not a good spot for me to be in the draft. This is horrible.
Well, Sean, if you were to pull up my power rankings or my list, you would know that's why I put Kamara 2nd, so I wouldn't have to face this exact decision.
All right.
Sean was so worried this would take a while, and he's already going to use the full 60 seconds on his first pick.
All right. You know what? I'm putting my feelings aside. I'm drafting Christian McCaffrey, number 2 overall. All right, let's see who else is off the board. Zeke goes number 3, Kamara number 4, Hopkins number 5, Kramer, you're on the clock with number 6.
Well, and I'm faced with that interesting decision that we discussed, and I mentioned that if this was an FFPC league, I'm pulling the trigger on Travis Kelce here with that 1.5 points.
Well, the
per
1.5 points.
Listen,
now,
and that's a huge point. Like the settings incredibly matter. That's like rule number 1.
So I should say,
I was literally in a league today where it went Kelce, Kittle, Ertz, like 3 in a row in the first round.
Damn.
So
the crazy setting. Also a bonus with first down.
should point out we are doing a standard PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. We did not include kickers in defense. I apologize, Dane, if you're a big kicker defense.
That's okay.
That is a disgusting act.
But I absolutely I am in the tough spot, and I am going to stick to my guns, and I am going to take Devontae Adams here.
Wow.
I love his upside this year, and at that point, I'm balancing. Do I want one of these running backs? Do I want my number 1 wide receiver? I went with the number 1 wide receiver. Dane, you're on the clock.
Yeah, computer went a little crazy there. Le'Veon Bell, 7 overall.
Don't like that, computer.
Odell Beckham Jr., number 8. And now Dane sitting here at number 9.
So in this situation, because the 2 wideouts are gone, which would be D-Hop and Devontae Adams, right? I would consider Kelsey, but I think it's a little too early for me to do that. So I'm going to go with the top running back left here. And for me, that is probably going to be Melvin Gordon here, which is, I guess, the chalky pick. I could understand going Kelsey, but I feel like if I don't go running back here, I won't get one of the top guys coming back. And this year I want to make sure I get one of those top guys. So it's going to be Melvin Gordon.
I agree with that. I definitely like that angle because I think as we broke down the running backs, I pointed out, I feel like there's 6 of them. Like there's a top 6, right. And then you kind of do want one of those. But, I guess we'll see where it lands. There's some guys I'm targeting. But you're back on the clock, Dane.
Yeah. After Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley, David Johnson, Michael Thomas, Juju, Julio, and Damian Williams, my boy, off the board.
Listen, so Kelsey is still here for me.
Ooh,
there it
so
is.
I'm going to take Kelsey here.
That's a nice snake.
I'm going to take Kelsey here, right? And I'm excited to do so that's the end of the analysis here. Anytime you can get a guy you were considering the round before and he's still there, that'll represent some value. Let's do it, especially if you're in some of these like tight end bonus leagues, which are all over the place.
And honestly, he has a chance to finish as the number 1 overall receiver this year. Potentially.
Wow. Okay,
depending on how much time Tyreek Hill misses. What happened next?
James Conner goes to the computer. Joe Mixon off the board, and now Kramer Centric on the clock.
So put back in a very difficult position. Once those were the 2 guys, I was figuring I'd get one of those guys. I get neither of those guys. Damian Williams also off the board.
Yep.
Do I just absolutely punt? I don't think I do because I'm high enough on Dalvin Cook in this spot.
Ooh.
I want that stud running back. He has the upside to me for the pass catching ability. We've seen what he can do in little bits.
Joe Mixon is a guy that I would have taken here if I had the spot, but he just went.
He just went. I was targeting him and Connor. No bullshit.
Right.
I think Dalvin Cook is right behind him, so I'm going to pull the trigger. I do want to have a 2-way running back who's going to give me some upside. Sean.
Yep, I'm up next. Antonio Brown just went. Don't want anything to do with him. Nick Chubb, Mike Evans,
I like
all
the Mike
off
Evans
the
pick.
board. Interesting here. I could running back. Nothing really jumping out at me.
Sean, you know what you're gonna do. Just pull the trigger on Zach Ertz. Save us the 30 seconds.
All right. Maybe I'll look over
How
at
many picks do we acquire?
Maybe I'll Oh, hey, Zach Ertz is here. Definitely much better than shitty George Kittle. Give me Zach Ertz.
Husband of World Cup winning superstar Julie Ertz.
Zach Ertz goes.
I'm with you on the fading Kittle angle, by the way.
Right.
He had CJ Beathard as his roommate quarterback all last year.
Exactly.
There's so many options. Like, he will regress from his NFL record, like yards, whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like, he's in that tier below them with Hunter Henry and O.J. Howard, in my opinion. It's the top 2 at tight end.
See, Ryan, this is why we have Dane on the show. This guy knows his stuff.
He's scheming up people to agree with you. I like it.
So George Kittle goes right after Ertz, then Marlon Mack. And now I kind of got a question here. Do I need a receiver, I feel like, at this point? What do I do? Keenan Allen available, T.Y. Hilton, A.J. Green, who I kind of like, but I feel like it's too early to take him.
A.J. Green is, over 30.
Yeah.
Hasn't finished the last couple of seasons. It's not going to be good in Cincinnati this year.
Got to take Keenan Allen, right?
Yeah, I'll go Keenan Allen for my boy.
San Diego Superchargers charge.
Justin Decker.
I would have absolutely gone that angle as well.
So now Thielen's off the board, O.J. Howard off the board, Mahomes, the first quarterback drafted. Kramer, you're on the clock.
gotta wait on quarterback this year
Yeah.
and every year. At this point, it's even more than this is the byproduct of a passing league in the NFL. Like it's not a big deal to throw for 4,200 yards anymore. So you can get anybody later on. Like be the last person in your league to get a quarterback.
Especially in a standard 12-team league. I think when you're playing best ball and you got to stack quarterbacks, it's a little more important to poach early. But
if you're in a 2-quarterback league, okay, get one, but then still.
So here's the thing. I think I jinxed my fantasy existence this year when I said that Leonard Fournette has been on my perpetual do not draft list. If he continues to be available to me in the third round, where I can now go stud receiver, Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, yes, please. To me, taking Leonard Fournette in the third round is okay because he has the upside to score as a number one running back every week, as long as he's on the field.
Leonard Fournette drafted by Kramer, then A.J. Green, Tyreek Hill.
Oh.
Computer does not read the news. Now, Dane, back on the clock here.
Yeah, listen, so I went tight end and running back, so I'm going to get my number one wide out. It's going to be T.Y. Hilton. And listen, this is tied to the Indianapolis Colts. I think Andrew Luck is a nice bet at 8-1. I think he's the second choice to win the MVP of the league this year. Like the last year he was healthy with Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton led the NFL in receiving yards. You know what I mean? There's no Funchess is just a red zone guy. They're building that team the right way. I think T.Y. Hilton is a, legit wide receiver one for your fantasy team. I'm happy to get him in the third round.
And not to mention, again, calling it out because I like to call these, but for best ball specifically, he's the guy you love because when he goes, he's going to go off.
Yeah.
He'll have a game this year of 6 for 161 and 2 touchdowns, guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh, at least one.
Amari Cooper off the board, Devonta Freeman off the board, our boy Andy Luck, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Cooks, and now next up is Dane. You're back on the clock here. What are you looking to go for?
Yeah, listen, this is a guy I know you also liked, and I'm not only on your guy, Sean, because I'm down on the Damian Williams things you guys both like, but I'm taking Kerryon Johnson. I love keep calm and carry on. I love this guy. Okay, I think Theo Riddick is not going to be on the roster, and Kerryon Johnson will catch 55, 60 balls this year, and that's the difference. I love Kerryon Johnson. He'll be my RB2.
I'm so glad we're doing video now, and I'm going to look at the camera to say this because Sean is
I'm pumped up.
Prime Sean Lather. Someone is agreeing with his hot takes.
Kerryon Johnson, week 1 against Arizona, against that Cliff Kingsbury defense. Oh, is he going in my DFS lineup? Okay, Edelman and Josh Jacobs. Sorry, what'd you say, Dan?
No, I was just saying his yards per carry were ridiculous. I don't believe in C.J. Anderson, even worse than LeGarrette Blount last year, taking carries. And the key here is I don't think Theo Riddick is going to even make the roster in Detroit this year.
I could see that happening for sure. So Edelman and Josh Jacobs off the board.
I'm sorry. Those are sirens because I am recording it in Washington Heights right now, if you hear the sirens in the background.
Dane's going to get carted away and still be making his picks. Kramer, you're on the clock here. Round 4, pick 7. What are you doing? 43rd pick overall.
Well, I probably should go receiver, a pass catcher of some sort. But a guy you like, a guy I agree with you is going to overperform. I'm going to give myself a little bit of bye week problem, but Phillip Lindsay, I also have the concerns of injury from my other 2 running backs. I want to make sure I'm strong there. Sure, 2 bye week 10 guys. I'll deal with that week 10. I'm going to add Phillip Lindsay to my stable of workhorses, Sean.
So he's off the board. Derrick Henry next, Darius Geis, Robert Woods. I don't really want much to do with those guys. I have a receiver. I have a tight end. I have a running back. I can kind of go BPA here.
You and Gettleman with the best player available. Look at you.
Oh, you know who I like? And I've made a case for this guy, and that is of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
I read a stat that Bruce Arians
is gonna, go for vertical with that offense. He's gonna talk that Jameis Winston talk. He'll tap into him.
Yeah.
I love all those guys. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, love them all. There's no running game to speak of. They're gonna throw.
There was a cool stat I came across that said 8 of the past 14 seasons where Bruce Arians was either offensive coordinator or head coach, they had 2 or more receivers with 100-plus targets. So Mike Evans is going to get his. No Deshaun Jackson. Godwin just seems like the natural progression there.
Yeah.
Seems like a great opportunity.
I like that pick.
He's gone off.
Yeah, so wait. I'm back on the
You're back on the clock, Sean.
Kenny Galladay's off. DJ Moore. Do I go Sony Michel? I can't fuck around with New England running backs. I just can't do it.
Yeah. And he's also a guy who is better in, say, standard non-PPR formats.
Yeah.
Okay. It's another kind of know your settings guy. He's much better in your non-PPR formats, as well as, like, say, a Carson or some of your other plotters that'll be good on the early downs.
So, Sean, you definitely need to go running back here.
That's probably
that would be my if I'm getting in your ear and giving you advice. I paused the draft. In full disclosure, Sean clearly he's a little flustered right now. He's all over. He's very excited about being agreed with, but he's also not sure what to do here.
Okay,
gotta go running back.
Yeah,
gotta go running back, Sean. And I'm gonna give you. I'll give you a nugget here because I don't know if there's a guy who's left with a better opportunity. Say what you will about Kenyon Drake. Who else is touching the ball in Miami?
Yeah, you're right. He's
the number 1 running back.
Yeah. I'm overthinking this because I was kind of looking.
I like Mark Ingram here. I really do. They are going to be a running offense. He's got no one really to deal with. You don't believe in Kenneth Dixon. You know that he's going to get a lot of carries. He's a lot better than people think because he's always split time in New Orleans. They went out and spent money on him, and they're going to be a definite running offense. I like Mark Ingram to get over 1,000 yards this year. He's another option in this spot.
I like Ingram, and I'll throw this to Sean.
I'll go Mark Ingram. I like that.
But I'll say Justice Hill.
Ooh.
Just do your homework.
Well, the other I'm
doing 28-round drafts over here. Give me a break.
I was getting cute thinking of maybe reaching for Chris Carson or Rashad Penny, but I think you get the guy who's the clear number 1, Mark Ingram.
And now things have fallen just beautifully because while I will neglect the receiver position for another round because I think there will be opportunity here, especially in standard 12-team the 12-team leagues like this. One of my top tight ends who is still available, Hunter Henry.
Oh,
I just like the potential here. He absolutely has the ability to creep near that top. It's taking your tiers further with the emergence of Goddard, it's probably Kelsey and then the rest of the humans. Yeah. So who has the ability to pop up into that class? I think Hunter Henry absolutely does. So at this late 5th round, I'm going to add him to my stable of weapons.
Okay, so after I took Mark Ingram, Deshaun Watson, Tyler Lockett, Sony Michel, Kramer took Hunter Henry, Baker Mayfield, taken by the computer.
The computer didn't see he got married?
This is why you wait on quarterback. Look at the people who are going right now. You get lead running backs. You get good tight ends. You can approximate Baker Mayfield's production 3-4 rounds from now.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is on the board, and the computer's
You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous.
Yeah. You see, it's all about value over replacement, Sean.
Stupid fucking algorithm. David Montgomery also off the board, and Dane, your pick here, 57th overall. What are you doing?
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna go wide out here. I have 2 running backs ready. I only have T.Y. Hilton. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp here.
Like it.
And listen, of the Rams, I think Kupp is the best value. Okay, he's going the 3rd of the 3 Rams. He clearly is the apple of Goff's eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he, on any given week, can be the highest scoring Ram wide receiver, especially in PPR settings. He's going to lead the team in catches, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when he was hurt, their offense really wasn't the same.
Yes, he is a critical cog of their offense.
All of the Rams, I feel like both him and Woods have a nice floor, not the highest ceiling, but a very nice floor.
Right.
So at this point in the draft, it's absolutely nice to have a guy like that.
So
sure.
After Cooper Kupp, Aaron Rodgers, Alshon Jeffrey, Kenyon Drake, Allen Robinson, and Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, all off the board. Dane, you're back on the clock.
Sean, I'm going to leave Tariq Cohen out there for you because I know how much you love him.
Thank you.
And here's what I'm doing, guys. For running backs in this kind of spot, give me a pass-catching running back, okay?
Yep.
James White is on the board. We were talking before about the Patriots running backs, and I understand, but the most consistent thing for the Patriots running backs is that James White will catch balls, okay? And that's easy points right there. I'll take him as my 3rd running back all day long.
Eric Ebron off the board. Sammy Watkins, damn. I would have liked to Maybe get a little chance at him, and they're both off. Kramer, you're on the board, or you're on the clock.
I was really hoping to snag Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
But he is also a punk-ass bitch.
Yes. Yes.
This thing is suggesting I should take Jarvis Landry. Bless him, Sean. Because
Bless him.
I ain't taking Jarvis Landry.
Wow.
Best friends with that turncoat, Odell Beckham. I'm going back to my Los Angeles Chargers because you know what? You know what Phillip Rivers likes to do. He likes to throw the ball to big receivers. Mike Williams really came on of
no
late.
Tyrell Williams.
I know I'm going double dipping on the Chargers.
And Hunter Henry, though. Right?
But that's fine. That offense will be able to support a pass attack, not to mention all of my guys, Sean, in bye weeks of 10, 11, or 12. So I'm really deferring the pain there. I'm a quick starter.
There you go. And then you're already in the playoffs and you're punting the rest.
There you go. Sean, you are now on the clock.
Jarvis Landry off. Tyler Boyd off the board. Chris Carson.
I like the Chris
drafted.
Carson pick there.
Not bad. So I'm looking around here. I can go. What do I do here? I can go running back. I can take a receiver.
As your fantasy coach, let me pop over here. You're pretty open. You can do anything you want here, Sean.
Yep. You know what?
Anything you want.
I fell in love with this man a couple years ago. Give me Tariq Cohen for old time's sake.
There it is. I left him for you.
Yeah,
there you go.
thank you. I appreciate that. So
and
Tariq,
that's the perfect role. Flex.
Yeah,
he's, a flex
he's
guy.
off the board. Then Robbie Anderson, Matt Ryan, both off the board. Do I consider drafting a quarterback here? No.
I think, like Dane said, you probably just wait, right?
Yeah.
There's so many still left.
Yeah, there really is. And
you get your boy Carson Wentz a long time from now. Don't worry about it.
6 rounds left to go.
Yeah,
of course, no kicker or defense, Sean. So scratch that part of your cheat sheet off.
Yep. All right, let's see. Do I go? I like some of the receivers available right now. You know what? Yeah, Will Fuller. I mean,
I like him.
He's not DeAndre Hopkins, and Kramer will probably remind us that he's better in a best ball scenario. But this late in the draft, round 7, 74th overall, Hopkins has had some injury issues. Maybe I get lucky, but yeah, give me Will Fuller. Okay, Will Fuller off the board now. Dante Pettis as well. Russie Will, he's out. Corey Davis.
Can we talk about computer number 5? Keep snaking me because I was going to take Corey Davis, former first-round pick Corey Davis. So I'm at the position where I have filled – I have Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Phillip Lindsay. I have Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. I guess I could go and get some more depth here at the wide receiver position. I am very intrigued by Marvin Jones this year. I feel like he's going way too late in some of these leagues.
Sham Newton, though, Ryan.
Sham Newton also out there. I'm waiting on quarterback. I am going to take our man Dane's advice on that front. You know what? I think that I'm enticed by Marvin Jones enough with how late he's going this year to grab him because I think he gives me some fairly safe depth. And while Galladay is the sexier pick, I feel like they're going to have similar production, and you can get Jones a couple rounds later.
Okay, Marvin Jones, selected by Kramer. Then Sterling Shepard, Cam Newton, and back to Dane. Dane, what are you doing here?
Listen, I also want to build at the wide receiver position. I don't like some of the guys that are being suggested to me, like Golden Tate or Cortland Sutton. I told you guys that I think Deshaun Hamilton is the diamond in there.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by Christian Kirk this year. Someone, Fitzy is going to decline a little bit more. Kirk and Kyler Murray were both at Texas A&M together, which is interesting. They used to play together. They know each other. And Kirk was good as a rookie. He's the guy that these guys are giving me. As I look, if we could pause it, that would be good.
Oh, of course. Your draft commissioner has paused the mock draft.
Thank you.
I would
but
to add to
look at the running backs.
Real quick to add to the Kirk thing, and this is something that you'll hear people repeat it endlessly, but just the fact that they will probably be running 10 to 15 more plays per game.
Yes.
This year makes all of their guys more intriguing. So
absolutely.
You know, and I like it. I may go there. I just want to see what the running backs are. I'm either getting a third running back or a third wideout. We're going back and forth. And at this point in the draft, this is the benefit of waiting on quarterback, right? Lamar Miller sucks. I'm not going his way. Um, you know, F it. Give me Christian Kirk. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Kirk.
Okay.
It's earlier than I think I would want to do it, but I gotta believe in what I say, right? And I believe in this connection. I think he takes a step forward. I think with the new offense, like you said, more plays run, and
That college
someone's
connection's
gonna be a
real.
lead wide receiver in Arizona.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
could be the next Beathard and Kittle, the garbage,
Exactly.
the garbage
Exactly.
NFC West
There will be some
fantasy
garbage
duo.
time. There will be some plays. Unfortunately, there will also be a lot of 3-and-outs.
Yeah, I'm in that same mindset.
there's going to be opportunity, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll
Oh,
take.
sorry,
take
I,
as soon as we
I
unpause
zoned
this
out.
draft.
I zoned out and did not resume.
Way to
the
go,
draft.
Commissioner.
It's happening now.
There it is.
I will say,
All right,
as
ready.
we're talking, this is the time of the draft where you do kind of have to start stabbing at opinions.
Yeah.
And
You
Taking
gotta
some
pick
long
some of your
shots.
guys, yeah.
The best kind of opinion is the guy that you're going to know week one. You're going to know right away. It's not going to be the I need an injury or I think
Not letting me draft Christian Kirk, but we'll see what happens.
it's going to let you draft right now.
All right.
There you go.
Here we go. We got some mock draft technical issues.
That's cool. It's
We
just
should be
take-
good, right?
It's just take a lot of ins, a lot
Listen,
of outs.
there
We're
we
good.
go.
Okay.
Once in a fantasy basketball draft, Joel Prisbilla went number 1 overall that I was in because it was like alphabetically next to like Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my God.
Center view. It's great.
Nightmare scenario.
There we go.
Okay, so now officially Christian Kirk off the board. Then we see Golden Tate. No, Carson Wentz. God damn you, computer. God damn you. See, this isn't realistic though.
There goes when you wait on quarterback. See, you can't wait on quarterback, Sean. I'm telling you.
Carson Wentz,
You gotta keep
Larry
your guys.
Larry Fitzgerald, Cortland Sutton, Tevin Coleman, D. Westbrook, and Dane. Back to you. What are you
Back to
stacking
you,
here?
yeah.
Only 3
Right, this
teams
time-
don't have a quarterback.
I think it's all
This time-
it's us three.
So, it's us. Hysterical.
Yeah.
This time I'm gonna go running back. Listen, I expect a little jump from Rashad Penny this year. Okay?
Oh.
They talk about his in better shape. The fumbling's not there. He's a guy who's like his yards per touch were ridiculous. They get a lot of opportunities. They run the ball. That's what they want to do. Carson has been all right, but he's kind of just a guy on some level. So I'll take a stab with Penny on a second year jump.
Lamar Miller off. Nikhil Hari is also off. Kramer, you're up.
Patriots. He's really skyrocketed up the mock draft boards. I'll tell you what, you mentioned Bruce Arians earlier, and you mentioned the fact that there wouldn't be much of a running game. I think I disagree a little bit, and I'm going to reach here for it. I'm taking Ronald Jones. I want to get a 4th running back, and I know I'm stretching here, but if Ronald Jones is a guy, we remember what David Johnson once did with this man.
Yeah.
He's getting a clean bill of health, was kind of in the doghouse with Dirk Koetter. And, I really, really like Ronald Jones. I'm going to have a ton of him. I just feel it. He's climbing up the draft boards as well.
Njoku off the board next. Kiki Kuti,
Oh, I like that pick.
Emmanuel Sanders. They're all off the board.
Guys, you're on Emmanuel Sanders, Kramer. I think he's gonna be on the pup list. I really do. Like that's an Achilles. He's over 30 years old.
Yeah, I'm scared off of Sanders.
I would. It's an opportunity thing, and I think that's actually the kind of play where you can be like, well, cool, he's on the pup list, I can drop him. If you're drafting early, you can kind of lottery him. Now, I totally get the stance of staying away, but I do think this round he's being drafted amongst other lottery tickets, so it's okay.
I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm worried about quarterback right now because I missed out on Wentz. Give me the mole man himself, Drew Brees.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck it. He's in a dome. Then Jordan Howard of the Eagles. Valdez Scantling. That's an interesting selection.
Yeah.
Oh.
there.
So I
He
will.
might be the number 2 in Green Bay. Listen, Green Bay is gonna be in FU mode, and if he's
Yep.
the number 2 over Geronimo Allison, that's a legit week-to-week starter that you would have there.
And I think he will be. And I think right now, Allison's being drafted ahead of him. Typically, in this mock draft, computer number 1, very intelligent, taking Valdez Scantling. Sean?
There it is.
This
All
is
about computer one.
this is an interesting play for me because I can kind of I don't have any glaring needs for my team. I'm gonna take a shot here. I think it's just a target thing with Jesse James out, with Antonio Brown out. I think Vance McDonald is going to get involved in the passing game a lot. I'm a man who loves 12 personnel, even in fantasy. Give me Vance McDonald.
Look at you.
He's going to stiff arm the fuck out of people, too.
Dude, they love him there. They love him in that town.
They do. And there's a lot of targets to go around there.
Yeah. And touchdowns, too. Red zone opportunities. Jared Cook off the board next. Adam Humphries. Miles Sanders. Again, the Eagles back who could be the legit workhorse back. His progress is kind of held up because of
soft
his
tissue.
Hamstring in the OTA, which is always which is never a great sign, but maybe you take a shot on him. Kramer, what are you doing here? LaShawn McCoy still available.
I don't need any. You could talk all the way down to 5 seconds because this is obvious. We just touched on it, but Bruce Arians is a man who loves to chuck the rock. How am I not taking Jameis Winston right here?
Yeah.
Give me that action. My team might have some character concerns off the field, but this is fantasy football. So I love waiting and grabbing Jameis. Was I the last team to grab a quarterback? Or
no, I think Dane.
No, I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah. So
and here's something you could do. Go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say the fact that I, for the 11th quarterback, can snag Jameis Winston. Yes, please.
Yeah. And then
absolutely.
Trey Burton off the board, Hines off the board, and Dane on the clock. Sounds like he's going QB here.
Yeah.
I got a feeling.
And here's the thing. Here's what you could do also for when you wait on QB. One of the things to do is then get 2 of them, right? Like in this kind of thing, I might get 2 of them, and I might go. What the theory is like get one kind of safe guy and then one upside guy. And this might be in your 2 quarterback leagues, right? You can still get a safe guy. Like right now, Big Ben is still out there. You can still get an upside guy. Right now, Kyler Murray is still out there. But, Jared Goff's still out there. So it's real. I'm going to go safe right here. I'll take Big Ben.
Yeah.
Big Ben led the NFL in passing last year, over 5,000 yards.
I think
in some formats, he was actually like QB 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think he's got one great year left in the tank, at least fantasy-wise, production-wise.
And he's got to prove that it was actually AB and Lev Bell that were the assholes and not him, for at least 1 year in the locker room.
And he's got Juju. I think this is Juju's breakout year if he hadn't broken out already, but huge year for Juju. So Austin Hooper, Darrell Henderson, Chris Herndon the 4th, Latavius Murray, Kareem Hunt, LaShawn McCoy, they're all off. With the 112th overall pick, Dane, where are you going here?
Yeah, in San Francisco, these running backs are interesting. They signed Tevin Coleman. They got Jerick McKinnon coming back. I like Jerick McKinnon this year. I think he's the guy who's going to lead in targets for that team. And you've never seen Tevin Coleman really handle the load. I think this offense will support 2 running backs. I like the pass catcher. Give me Jerick McKinnon.
And I will say this. McKinnon was going in the tail end of the second round last year in my FFPC.
Right, before the ACL.
Before the injury. And it's the 10th round. It's the 10th round, and it's a Shanahan offense. I absolutely love taking a stab at one of these guys.
They brought Tevin Coleman over to play the Tevin Coleman role in the Shanahan offense. That means McKinnon could be the Devontae Freeman role.
Breida would be the X factor. And back to me.
Yep. Royce Freeman off the board. Deonta Foreman off the board. Kramer.
And here's what I want to do. And I this is probably where I'm kind of falling off the wagon a little bit. Well, because I want to – Dane even pointed it out. And then take 2. Sure, you may have concerns about Jameis Winston. I really like him. But you know what I want to see? I want to see what happens week 1 with Kyler Murray.
There it is.
So I've now drafted my 9th and 10th ranked quarter. I just want to see what – because at the end of the day, this bench spot is it's going to go away. You're not going to be –
It doesn't matter.
Sure, you probably should grab a backup running back, but there's going to be so much movement. If Kyler Murray goes out there and drops 40 because he's running for 150 yards,
you want to be a part of it, Ryan.
Now I can trade that asset.
Sure.
It's all about the process, Sean. Anyway,
the process.
I also just wanted to make sure we talked about Kyler because Sean loves the name.
It's a horrific name.
You are up, Sean. 2 rounds to go. 1.5 round for you, or 3 rounds for you, 2 rounds for us.
You know what? My man Bruce Arians says, no risk it, no biscuit. I'm going to risk it. Deep ball threat, still some speed left going into a into a great offensive situation. He's coming home. Give me Deshaun Jackson. I mean, it's pretty late for Deshaun
Gotta
Jackson.
get that eagle quota.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get some.
So, and for those,
Still have a Dallas Goddard potential too.
Yeah.
for those,
shit.
for
God
those
damn it.
keeping track, like, this is actually how Sean will draft his fantasy teams.
I reach at times.
I miss the years of McNabb being a first-round pick. It was great.
Okay, I'll do it.
Sean, you're back. Are
Yeah,
you going to
I'm
take
back on
Dallas?
the clock.
You're going to take a third tight end. You can't take
No.
3 tight ends.
Deion Lewis, Matt Breida are off the board. I'm going to go to Buffalo. I don't think Frank Gore or LaShawn McCoy do enough for this Bills team. Week 5, week 6, Devin Singletary could be the guy. Buffalo needs to run the ball. They need to give Josh Allen some options. They drafted him 3rd overall. He could real boom potential here. Give me Devin Singletary.
Listen, they have T.J. Yeldon also, which is also interesting.
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
because he's a guy like, he's a serviceable pass-catching back. I agree with you on Shady and Gore, but don't sleep on Yeldon
Yeah, that's a
proving
great
to be
point.
serviceable as an NFL back.
There's also the element of if you're doing a pre-training camp draft, this is the kind of late-round pick you want. It's a bullet.
Sure.
Yeah.
It could be a starting running back, right?
Yeah.
His upside is that he's getting the majority of the carries on a team that's going to run the ball.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy could be on the Houston Texans in a month. You never know.
I read something from the Buffalo newspaper said he's splitting first-team reps with Gore and LaShawn McCoy, which is a good sign. But again, it's insanely early. Ito Smith, Duke Johnson, and AP. Haven't talked about AP. They're all off the board. Kramer, what are you doing?
DJ Moore went a long time ago. Curtis Samuel's still there. I'm a little higher on Cam Newton than most. Again, this is more of a why is he's going with guys who don't have the opportunity that he will. While the more fun pick maybe here is to go John Brown and say he's going to get his deep ball mojo back with Josh Allen because it's the only thing that Josh Allen can do. I'm going to stick to the safer pick, Curtis Samuel. Dan, you are now on the clock.
I like it. And then just for reference, guys, because I'm going to go for the second quarterback also. Remember, I said safe and upside, right? I already have Big Ben. Just for note, we're going into like the last round of the draft. Phillip Rivers still available as another safe option. Okay, Jared Goff. If you like these Rams wide receivers and you think Gurley has arthritis, they're gonna throw the ball. Available in the last round of the fucking draft.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah. So, but because I went safe with Ben, give me fucking Lamar Jackson as my upside quarterback.
I think he was.
Why not?
Yeah, those 6 weeks he started.
Same kind of theory.
Yeah, sorry to step on you there, but I read a stat there. He was a top 7 or top 5 fantasy quarterback those 6 weeks he started. Now we'll see if that continues, but it's worth a shot.
And real quick,
what's safe is his 60 rushing yards a game. You know what that is? It's ridiculous, and people don't realize it. Just how much of an impact. Forget him. Josh Allen was like QB7 for the second half of the year on the strength of a similar running game.
Same with Trubisky. It's all the same stuff. You're back on the clock, Dane.
Yep, so I need another wideout, so that's where I'm going. I go to the wideout spots. Of these guys here, I said it before, give me Deshaun Hamilton. He's the slot guy. Okay, I think Manny Sanders is on the pup. He got a ton of targets in December. Cortland Sutton will be on the outside. Joe Flacco's not throwing the ball downfield like he used to be. And here's the thing also, Kramer. Even if Sanders isn't on the pup, he's going to not be able to build chemistry with Flacco in training camp, in the preseason. He won't be on the field then. He'll be on the Deshaun Hamilton is the one who'll be building chemistry. I never like the rookie tight ends. It takes too long for them to grow. I think Noah Fant will be okay in dynasty settings, but I think Deshaun Hamilton will lead this team in catches. He's still there for me. It was between him, and I cannot believe that Kenny Stills is still there. I got to tell you guys, he's going to be the number one in Miami. He's the deep route guy. He's overperformed his ADP like every single year. And here's the thing. He's the deep guy. We know Fitzpatrick will chuck it downfield. Who do you think he's chucking it to? It's not Devontae Parker. It's not anybody else. Kenny Stills will outperform ADP also. But, I went with Deshaun because he's like he's my diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw, even though I would probably take Kenny Stills here, I'm going to say give me Justice Hill. I know we like Mark Ingram, but I think at a minimum, Justice Hill will probably be on the field for the passing work. And you never know. I mean, Mark Ingram, I like him. I happen to like him this year. Probably a situation where in deeper leagues I'm going to take both those guys. But, again, you're taking a bullet at the end. We have 2 picks left in the draft, Sean. Literally the whole draft has 2 picks left. You are the last pick, second to last pick. Who are you doing? Who are you going with?
I think he has a – and, again, this is just from, like, reading local stuff and people saying, oh, their chemistry's great. Look out for them. And that is from the Seattle Seahawks, David Moore.
Yeah, there you go.
Super deep, 53 targets last season. I think he has he's someone you draft probably – I probably drafted him too high for this sort of draft. I'm not going to draft a backup quarterback to satisfy the algorithm and their stupid grading system. All right, so to recap my team, Drew Brees, Christian McCaffrey, Tariq Cohen, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Zach Ertz, Mark Ingram. On my bench right now, Will Fuller, Vance McDonald, Deshaun Jackson, David Moore, and Devin Singletary.
What's your grade?
C+. Kramer.
Where's the results?
What's the number?
Results.
I just finished mine and it
just popped up.
It just popped up.
I got an A.
Oh.
Okay. Read off your team there, Dane.
All right, let's see. Where do I find that?
I got it right in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
You want me to read it off?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we got Melvin Gordon, Travis Kelce, T.Y. Hilton, Kerryon Johnson, Cooper Kupp, James White, Christian Kirk, Rashad Penny, Big Ben, Jerick McKinnon, Lamar Jackson, and Hamilton out of Denver.
That's a good team.
Yeah. They gave me an A, which makes me actually worried about this team if we actually
the fucking
I don't
square.
Like these grades. Right.
I was given a B, 86 out of 100. My final roster. I beat you, Sean. Relax. A B is better than a C+. Jameis Winston. I really like the running back core. Dalvin Cook. For some reason, I'm getting higher and higher on Leonard Fournette every day. Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, Phillip Lindsay, Marvin Jones, Curtis Samuel, Ronald Jones, Justice Hill, and my lottery ticket of Kyler Murray. What were you saying, Dane?
No, I was saying with Fournette, with all those guys, those running backs that are like 10 to 18, there's injury questions. There's some kind of questions with all of them. You know what I mean? So why not? Whichever one you like. Of that group, I actually like Devontae Freeman. You know, I know he's banged up all the time, but if we like this Atlanta offense, then he's going to get a ton also. I mean, they're going to be schedule nugget for you. The Falcons have 13 games indoors this year. Yeah,
it's insane.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Them and the Packers are 2 teams in the NFC that I think are going to be in the playoffs that weren't last year. And I love that schedule for all the Falcons.
Hot take there from Dane. Dane, before we let you go, any other nuggets, just stuff that you were itching to talk about this show and we didn't get to it during the mock draft?
No, not really. I think, we talked about it as it kind of played out with things like the settings, when the tight ends get the bonuses. That is really the most important thing. Understand that. Understand the PPR kind of backs that you might need, and definitely the idea of waiting on quarterback. We made the point here. You could have gotten Phillip Rivers on waivers in this league, in a 12-team league, or in the last round. And so make sure you stock up with those running backs, with those wide receivers. If you don't get one of those 3 tight ends, you can get the tight end, those second-tier tight ends, the Henrys, the Ingrams, the Howards. Those guys will be just fine. But load up on those wide receivers and running backs.
I will say, the value isn't there in quarterback early, but because there's probably only 8-ish tight ends, it kind of falls off. Maybe you do want to invest. That's my takeaway in doing a lot of these. The fun thing about doing all these drafts is you kind of see how the formula changes based on where you're picking and based on who you go with early. And what I found is it's tough to not come away with a stud running back early. You can find receivers. I mean, my team would highlight that as I spent 3 out of my first 4 picks on running backs. I did go Devontae Adams first, but man, you really want to get those running backs because it does kind of fall off there.
Got to get one of those top, maybe whatever it is, whatever the line is for you. For me, it's Joe Mixon at 8 or 9. You definitely want to get one of those guys. And in the first round, even if you're staring at a Devontae Adams or a Julio Jones, the running back you would get on the comeback is probably not the RB1 that you want, and there's value at the wideout later on. So I agree. I'd even go 8 in a row running back at the top of the draft. And with the tight ends, though, in the ones that I'm doing, to your point, Kramer, like I'm winding up with a lot of OJ Howard, Hunter Henry.
Yep.
I even am okay with the Jared Cook, that kind of like second tier that probably has 4 or 5, the Evan Ingram even, like that kind of tier. Because I got Kelsey in this draft because he was staring at me in the second round still. But if I'm not getting the Kelsey or Ertz, I'm completely comfortable with that Hunter Henry, OJ Howard tier.
Yeah.
And I'm getting that, in the whatever, in like 5th or 6th round. And that's completely comfortable for me. With getting the quarterbacks real late and going crazy with these running backs. But you got to get your stud early on, and because every other team, has an RBBC, right? So there's very few workhorses these days, so you got to get one up top.
Sean just lit up. He just learned a new acronym. He
Running back by committee.
Loves that. Yeah,
There
I mean,
it is.
I think specifically in these types of like home leagues or whatever, where it's 12 teams, it's a shorter bench. It's just, yeah, there's no value in taking that quarter. Like, so one of your buddies is going to take Patrick Mahomes in the second round.
Let him.
Let it happen.
Let it happen.
Let him.
Just be
And be happy when you have your RB2 ready to go.
Yeah, and be stoked that you have a quarterback that loves to grab pussy. Allegedly. Allegedly.
All right, Dane.
Yeah.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Make sure you follow Dane on Twitter at Spittin' Speeds and check him out, his show on Fantasy Radio. Anything else you want to throw out there, Dane?
No, man. Thanks for having me on again. Make sure to avoid those fugazis, man. Forget about it.
Diamonds only. And thank you guys, as always, for tuning into the podcast. Rate, review, and share on iTunes. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
The fugazi is such a great word.
Kramer. Let it ride.